So I have to ask, how realistic is it where you see those people doing like the crazy like dance moves while they're trying to play the game? Like, is that really like possible, or is it just movie magic and just total BS?
So it's half and half, I would say. So there is a whole freestyle community for DDR and for Pump It Up. Basically, they don't do crazy charts. What they do is they'll have like an easier chart, and a lot of the times I would say it's on doubles, so they have both pads, and there's a whole like thing that they do with like judging it and grading it. So with tournaments for freestyle,
Wait,
the
wait, wait,
people
wait,
come
wait, wait,
up.
wait, wait, wait. They actually have tournaments.
Yes, they have tournaments.
There are
Actually,
freestyle
officially part of like for Pump It Up, and when Andamiro holds their official tournaments, they have a freestyle division. And so basically, they even have charts that are considered performance charts. They call it doubles performance, and they're made so that they're easy enough that you can hit the notes while doing your freestyle.
Huh.
And a lot of times people will have more than one person to freestyle, so it's not just one person. But part of the grading, the criteria for judging is that you can't fail the song. So you have to make sure you don't fail it. They usually have like a panel of judges that like grade you off creativity, accuracy of like making sure you hit like the notes and like don't fail the song, and just like all these different things. And then they'll give you like a score and all that. I'm not too familiar with it because I don't do freestyle myself, but I do have friends that do. And it's similar in DDR as well. Like, I don't know if they have official DDR freestyle tournaments, but there is like a freestyle community in the DDR community. A lot of the tournaments that we see in the US specifically are community ran.
Hmm. I see that a lot with Smash Brothers too.
So, yeah, it's the community is big enough for us to run like our own tournaments, which is cool. Like we have like these huge events, and usually it's not just specifically dance games. They have other rhythm games included in that. I want to say, what was the last one? I know the last big one was at Raj of the Garage back in December of 2019. It was a huge event. They had all sorts of rhythm games. They had tournaments, and yeah, they were supposed to do the Big Deal in Texas, the Big Deal 4 last March, but COVID unfortunately happened, so they canceled that. But that was another big rhythm game tournament that would have had DDR and Pump It Up tournaments.
Yeah, so you have to travel for some of these tournaments. Like,
oh yeah. Actually, hold up. Actually, we were supposed to have one in SoCal. I was actually helping out with, they were going to do something at Puente Hills, round one. So the round one in round one, Puente Hills. They were actually going to do this DDR tournament. It was going to be like a couple day event. They were trying to do something even bigger, something similar to the Big Deal, where they'd have all the rhythm games, I believe. And I was helping run a women's division, and they had to cancel it because of COVID. But that is something that I'm hoping they will do in the future when round one finally opens up again. But we don't really have so many like big events here in SoCal. We do have to travel and I understand why, because the places that they have these big events, it's not too expensive to travel to. It's actually a lot cheaper because traveling to California is expensive, and it's not feasible for a lot of people. But somewhere like Texas, it's more in the middle of the country. It's cheaper. They have the space for it because the round one there is huge. Round one Grapevine is just, they have so much space. So it also depends on the arcades themselves and if they're willing to allow us to have these events. And a lot of the times you have to someone has to be on the inside. So the only reason we were going to have something at our round one is because one of the newer managers, is he manager? Supervisors, he is a dance gamer. And so he was like, hey, let's do this sort of event. And so it's a lot of logistical stuff. I've been to the Big Deal in Texas for 2 years, the Big Deal 2 and the Big Deal 3. I have gone to, I actually went up north to San Jose for Infinity Stage, which was back in August of 2019. It was a multi-rhythm game tournament. I have gone, one of my favorites, this was actually more of like a invitational tournament, but I have been competing in an all women's tournament called Girlpocalypse since 2015. And so it's an in the groove tournament for women, and you had to qualify to be able to go. Someone within the community, her name's, well, she goes by Hurt Piggy Pig. She actually had arranged this whole thing. Her husband had been running I'd say like a top tier stamina-ish. I don't know if it wasn't really stamina. It was just like an invitational called Bearpocalypse. So she wanted to do something for women, and they would host it at their house in Chicago. And she hosted it 2015, 2016. I went to both of those. 2017, a friend of mine, she goes by Pink Lemonade. She ended up hosting it at her house in 2017. 2018, I ended up actually didn't go to 2018 because it was in Wisconsin at another friend's house. She goes by Freya 87, I believe. Yeah. 2019 was in France. And I actually traveled for that, but I didn't compete because I was 8 months pregnant. So, and that was actually right after Infinity Stage. So I went straight from San Jose to France. So I was gone for I was away from home for over 2 weeks, just for tournaments, which was crazy. But I've gone all the way
8 weeks
to
pregnant?
France. Yes. I was so excited for it that I wanted. I was competing. I competed in Infinity Stage when I was 8 months pregnant. 8 months pregnant. I competed in DDR. There was a women's division called Valkyrie Dimension, and I competed in that and made top 5. And then I competed in Pump It Up lower division. Well pregnant. Pump It Up lower division, I won. I actually got first place. And then I competed in the regular main DDR tournament. I don't remember what I got, but I did win my first match, which was crazy. It was incredible. But yeah, I was very active with dance games when I was pregnant. Like, I played up until the week I gave birth, but yeah, like I was traveling still for when I was pregnant for tournaments, and you know, I've competed. I did a tournament in Mexico. I've done official tournaments like USPF, which is United States Pump Festival. That's the official Andamiro tournament in 2018. That was up in San Jose. I competed in that. I've gone to Virginia for Beast in the East, which was back in 2018. Like I've been quite a lot of places. Dance games have taken me places. I've been to Boston because of dance games. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think, like Washington, you name it. I made sure I continued to move throughout my pregnancy. And if it wasn't for dance games, I probably wouldn't have been moving. I did go to the arcade a lot. I played a lot of DDR especially around that time, because DDR was a lot less on my body than Pump It Up. So I took a Pump It Up hiatus to be able to be safe about my movement. Even though I did compete in a Pump It Up tournament when I was 8 months pregnant. But dance games are life. for me.
Man, that is oh. So you were saying earlier that both you and your husband both do streaming and everything like that.
Yeah.
So you already told us that you started when you were younger. Did you get him into it, or was it like a mutual thing with you guys?
So I met him at a tournament.
Oh,
um,
oh,
yeah. So back in 2010, we met in San Diego at Nickel City. There was an ITG tournament in the group tournament called Cheddar 3. I remember this. It feels like it was so long ago. And so I went and I competed in the lower division because at the time, like, I wasn't good enough to be in the upper division, but he was in the upper division. And a friend of mine, um, she goes by Joker. She introduced us and we became friends. I later found out like he lived like 2 hours away from me at the time. And he invited me and a couple friends to come over and play in the groove at his house because he owned a machine. So, we went over and like we would go over periodically and hang out with him and stuff like that. And then, um, yeah, that was like what made us friends. And then over time, like, there was one point where we started talking even more and then we started dating. But we both were like really into the game. He's way better than I am at the game, but he's helped me a lot, like a lot through my journey with dance games. And now we have like our own thing together and it's pretty amazing. He actually had, when we first started dating, he actually sold his machine because he was into photography and he bought a camera lens with the money that he got when he sold the machine. And I remember I was like, oh my gosh, he's like, I was so sad when he sold it. I was like, no, like, because played for a couple of years on that machine because we didn't start dating until we knew each other for like a couple of years. But I ended up buying a machine 2 years later and we kept it at his house because we weren't living together yet. And yeah, and so we still have that machine. And then when he ended up stopping like doing photography and everything. He sold his gear. He was able to buy our Pump It Up machine back in 2017. And since then, that's when like I really got into Pump It Up and he got into Pump It Up. And he kind of like retired with ITG and has focused only on Pump. Meanwhile, like I'll still play in the groove, but my focus has been Pump lately. And it's been a lot of fun having his support and learning the game along with him.
but something like this where you guys met through this video game, you met on a tournament, like you both play it, you both have a good passion for it. I mean, that's just that shows like what it is that this artwork. I mean, you can't call it anything else but that. I mean, the music, the community. I mean, it's something that's more passionate with each day that goes through. And I mean, right here, look at this. This is something that I'm so glad I did this interview with you for this.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, this is exactly the stories that I was searching for. Was I want to hear these types of things. You know what I mean? I didn't think I'd get that kind of a story. That's amazing.
What would you
Yeah.
say if I told you there's a video of our proposal on YouTube and it's not what you think? So, okay. So I'll explain it, but basically, we had planned a trip to go to a local arcade. Well, it's sort of local, but Howie's Game Shack in Mission Viejo.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer there, but they had it in the Groove Machine. It was one of the original in the Groove machines in the country and in SoCal. And he told me he needed to make a video for his YouTube channel. At the time, he was one of the top in the Groove players. And so I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, I made this chart. It was to our song. So our song, you know, every couple has a song.
Mhm.
It's Coldplay's Yellow, but this was like a
Oh.
remix of it. So he's like, I want to make a really cute video where we're playing and, you know, we're holding hands while we're playing. And I was like, yeah, sure. And he had our friend Sheldon
What?
on it, like recording for us and stuff like that. I was like, cool. We're playing it. And then as I'm playing it, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm playing terribly, but it's okay, whatever. And all of a sudden, when the part of the song that says "Look at the stars, look how they shine for you," the screen changed, and it was no longer the dance game. Because I was looking at the progress bar to see like how the song progressed. It was like halfway, and I was like, why is my score like done? Because usually that means like when your score is done, that means the song is done, but it still had like half the song left. And I was like, that's weird. And it starts changing, and it says. Like, and it starts showing text, and I'm like, and I was like, what is going on? And it said like, I love you, and will you marry me? And I had to hold the green button, and he's like on his knee on the pad, and I had to hold the green button to say yes. And yeah, it's on YouTube. It's from 2012. Yeah, it was a long
Whew.
time ago. Yeah, and it was very unique, and he actually had to have like there was like a couple people in on it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like how'd you plan this whole thing? Yeah, it's a lot of people have like in the community have like come up to me years later and like, I saw your proposal, this was so beautiful. Like like I still get that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was like 9 years ago almost. So
Wow. I mean, just wow.
yeah,
The time, the effort, and everything he had to put into that.
yeah, it's really cool.
Ooh.
It's really cool. Because
Oh
like
my.
changing the actual like chart so that you don't
Yeah.
see the notes anymore and it's like something else, that's like you need some sort of like coding knowledge to be able to do that. They call it a foreground, but fortunately he knew someone that knew how to do that, and so he was able to pull that off.
Ooh. Oh man. That is amazing. I had no idea. That is amazing.
Yeah, and it's
Oh.
it's so crazy. Like looking back, I'm like, wow, this was a while ago. But you know, like we like I said, we've built this whole thing together, and you know, we have our daughter, and we actually have her. She has her own dance game machine as well. She can't use it yet, but I don't know if you've ever seen those like kid like pump it up or dance games within Chuck E. Cheese. They have like a kid version, and we actually have one of those. A friend of ours dropped it off at her house and was like, "Here you go." So she has her own. They call it pump jump. She has her own dance game machine for when she can actually use it.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Just was, hey, here you go.
Yeah, because she likes to crawl around on the pads in the garage. So when she gets the chance, she loves the lights. She loves the songs. She loves just like stepping on, well, using her hands to like hit the arrows and stuff. So she's definitely going to be a dance gamer at some point in her life.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Like,
Thank you.
like I'm sitting here like with my younger son. He's about to be 2 in
Aw.
2 months, and
Oh my gosh.
I'm dying to play. I'm dying to just get him into like some of my old favorite games. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Shield back there, Legend of Zelda.
Yes.
I mean, heck, my wedding ring is. I don't know if you can see it. It's just like
Oh,
a
that's
little.
so cute. That's so cool.
Yeah, Sil actually got me that. My it was that's a that was a Christmas present from this last Christmas, because my ring is just. I'm an electrician, so I usually can't wear a ring, so she got me a ring that I
Yeah.
could actually wear.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past was my game for Super Nintendo. That was I still have it too.
really?
Yes.
Oh, I lost mine. I'm so sad.
You probably still find it. I'd imagine you could still find it. But yeah, that was like that was my favorite Zelda
Oh,
game.
mine was Old Faithful, Ocarina of Time. I mean, there's tons of people.
Everyone loves Ocarina of Time. Everyone loves that game. And I played a little bit of it, but I never played enough of it. Um, I think I have I do have a GameCube, so I could buy it if I and try it, or just get an emulator.
I mean, I know some of the remakes. God, what did they remake it on? Oh, that was a 3DS they remade it on, huh? I think that would probably be your best bet is to do the 3DS emulator that they did.
Mm.
Because I know the old 64 version is like really hard to play nowadays. Like
Didn't they?
it hurts your eyes.
Oh, I can imagine. Didn't they have it? I thought they had it for GameCube too.
I don't remember. They may have.
I
No,
thought they did.
I didn't get a GameCube, so that's like
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
one only Nintendo product I don't own.
I didn't really use it too much. I had one like way after the fact, but yeah. I thought it was on GameCube. I know there is a game on GameCube.
Wind Waker.
I
I know
swore it
Wind
was that
Waker.
because was it Wind? Okay, it was Wind Waker.
I
That's
know Wind
probably what it
Waker's on there,
was.
and I want to say Twilight Princess. I think was also on there because I think that was
Twilight Princess was the Wii because I played that one.
yeah. I know they had it on the Wii too, but I want to say that's one of the games that they had on both, like they did with
Did they?
Breath of the Wild, where they had it on both the Wii U and the Switch.
Okay.
If I
Huh.
remember right.
I do have it for the Wii though, and I remember really enjoying it. So and it was weird because I was like, this isn't like the original Zelda that I used to play. Because Link to the Past was like, I mean, like Link to the Past, very, very like
Oh,
basic in today's standards.
oh. Yeah, I mean, Link to the Past was always a good one, but for the top down Legend of Zelda games, I think my favorite is still Link's Awakening.
I haven't
that
tried
was
that one.
that was the first one I ever played, and that was one of my favorite ones. I mean, I played that one right after I played Ocarina of Time because actually the
Mm.
first one I ever played was the original one on Nintendo.
Yeah.
I used to play with my dad, and God, I had no idea what was going on, and I never played it again. But when I did play another Legend of Zelda, it was the 64, and
Mm.
like I had a big, huge group of friends that loves playing, loved playing Legend of Zelda, and so I used to play with them. Well, I was the only one that figured out the water temple. Every single one of them would get to the water temple in 64 and throw their controller and go, I'm done. Like I can't get past this. And I figured it out by accident because I
Oh
was just
wow.
messing around. And
Hmm.
in the center of the map, there's a column that you have to raise the water level all the way up to the top in the water temple.
Hmm.
And I accidentally left the iron boots on and I walked off the platform instead of turning in, putting on different boots and wiring off. So I fell down the thing, and I was like, "Oh, I'll take the boots off." And I was like, "Oh, I wonder what's down here. Like, I wonder if this did anything." And when I got down there, that's where it has the secret passage to go down under and get the last key that you needed.
Ah.
So I figured that out by accident, and then one of my good friends, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, I can't, like, he came to school one day. He's like, yeah, I've just been playing to the water temple. Like, I never beat the game. And I was like, dude, just put the iron boots on and fall down the center. And he's like, he came back to me. He's like, I can't believe I couldn't figure that out. Like, he got so mad at me. because
Did you
he got
tell him it was an accident?
yeah, I told him I was like, yeah, I figured it out. I did it by accident. I was like, it was just like a coincidence of a thing. And I mean, still to this day, like the only reason why, like I'll play the game and I'll go, God damn key. I'll get all the way to the end and go, damn it, I forgot it again.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Oh my goodness. But yeah. And then well, you're saying you're playing a bunch of horror games, huh?
Sort of when I have the time, but they
Oof.
still terrify me.
I'm I'm a little chicken. I can't barely even get through BioShock without flinching.
I haven't played BioShock actually, but I just those pop and scare games, like they get me.
My one of my good friends, he loved what was that game called? Oh well, how am I not going to remember? It's called Fear. So it's known for its jump scares. Like, and the worst part is like the jump scares. Like you don't know whether it's just a jump scare and that's it, or is a jump scare that's going to kill you, and you need to like
Mm,
run or you need to do something, and
yeah.
it mixes them in there. And there's a famous first jump scare in the first game, and so I was over at his house and we're sitting there, we're playing, and it's the infamous ladder scene. I don't know if have you heard of it or not. So the whole thing is that you're walking down this hallway. There's no enemies, no nothing, and the music is like still kind of going, but then you get to a ladder to where you're supposed to start going down the ladder. Well, they make it look like as if you're just gonna walk down the ladder, not a big deal, nothing. The main protagonist pops out in your face as you're going down the ladder. It
Mm.
damn near scared the living shit out of me. I jumped off the ladder, wasted all my ammo shooting at it because I wasn't sure.
Oh
I was like,
no.
I was like, all right, that's it, I'm done. I put the game down. He's just laughing his ass off because I mean, we're playing this at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
He has all the lights out, everything. I'm focused on this game. I have headphones on. Yeah, no, I never got past the ladder scene.
Oh no. Yeah, I that's like me. It's like, oh, something happens, and I'm like, nope, I cannot, or like I can't play it alone. I when I played Outlast 2, I had my friend with me, and I'm like, I can't do this, and I would hand her the controller so she could do it. I was like, I cannot, because Outlast 2 is like one of those games where it really like I would be terrified if that were real life because you can't fight back. And I think that's what terrifies me is the fact that you can't fight back. At least with Resident Evil, you can fight back, but not with Outlast. And so I was like, you have these like people chasing after you and you have to hide and you have to really know how to hide and navigate this like deserted town in the middle of the mountains. And I'm like, I can't. Like, it's too creepy. And they're like sacrificing people and it's really gruesome and gory and like there's like a lot of warnings on it because it's so graphic. um Definitely not for young people. That's for sure. At least Resident Evil's a little bit more like it's not kid friendly obviously, but it's a little bit more friendly towards a wider audience, and you're dealing with like just weird people that you can fight off and not worry about them like trying to sacrifice you or do all these crazy things to you. But even with Resident Evil, I got to this then I got all the way to the point in the beginning where there was I could find another tape to save because you when you find like the tape recorders, that's where you can save it.
Mhm.
I was playing up until I found the next tape recorder. And so I was like, this is terrifying. And I played that with friends in the room with the lights on. But I had considered streaming it, but I don't know. People would probably laugh at how terrified I am. And I have a friend that actually speed runs Resident Evil 7 like it's
Ooh,
nothing. And I'm just like, yep,
ooh.
I'm just terrified.
Thank you, gamers, for joining us for this conversation. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe so you can see more of this interview and others like it. Have a good one, you guys.